What's up, guys? I'm the world's best Spanish coach. I put lessons exclusively on Medify. So if you want a galaxy brain like me, click the link in the description and sign up to learn from a goddamn Chad. Now we got mid-tier, y'all. Welcome back. This is the part of the list where most of these characters still aren't really doing anything. And honestly, you can make the argument with a lot of these characters in mid-tier that they are low tier. Kind of like how a lot of the characters are low tier. You could honestly make the argument that they're mid-tier, especially based on the results. This is a section where a lot of these characters have like maybe one player putting in work, and that's it. And like they're just clearly underpowered kids. Starting off, Marth. Marth is honestly just here because why play him over Lucina? I think there's some matchups where Marth might be better than Lucina, but we've been saying that for 3 years now. Really, it doesn't say anything. I'm curious about the character's results. Yeah, but I think this is because people don't play him because Lucina exists. So if there's no Lucina, he'd arguably be like probably in 50s area maybe, but it doesn't matter. It's Marth. No one's playing him. Moving on, Zelda.
Thanks.
Zelda's a character that makes me sad because she's really fun to play. Like, she's actually so fun to play. And, man, she's awful. Granted, Knight is a really dumb tool that some characters don't deal with. But, man, especially when you get to, like, good characters who are fast, man, she's just lackluster. She has some cheese, but slow characters without the best hitboxes and ultimate really just doesn't work out. Toon Link's another character I love playing. You'll notice I like playing a lot of these bad characters. Actually, the character has pretty good results in Japan. The character is significantly better results-wise than I'm putting him here, because there's 3 Japanese Toon Links that do very well consistently. And it's interesting because on one hand, you have a lot of people who should know the matchup because they're all, in the area playing well. But on the other hand, you have 3 people that can basically communicate with each other and like discuss matchups and everything really easily because they're located in the same region, and it's a very strong region, right? And so it's hard to say if I really underrate the character that much, if it's just 3 players kind of like working well together to make the character look better than he is. It's probably somewhere in the middle, realistically. I probably should be putting him like more like here just based on the fact that his results are like actually pretty decent. But I do think it's a case of like 3 people who like go with the character, play the character for like Smash 4 as well, so have a lot of experience with the character, making the character look better than he appears. Me Gunner. This character is polarizing. There's polarizing characters in the low tier that are just bad, even though they're polarizing, like Me Swordy or like Little Mac. Me Gunner is pretty darn bad. Results don't lie. But the character is like good enough at being polarizing while having a little bit of versatility. Like that Nair is a good Nair. That back air is good. Like this character has some decent buttons that aren't just projectiles. You can like run into matchups even among good characters where like this character's kit is just so centralized around like zoning and pressure zoning. That just works out. So really not a good character overall, but has some key matchups that probably are good for her, but it doesn't really matter much. And also, to be fair, with any Mii's results, the results are worse than they probably would be, say, if this character was Samus, because it's Mii's. Who's trying to play Mii's, right? I'm sorry to Mii players out there. I know I'm hurting you right now, but it's just how it is. Duck Hunt. So you know it's bad when the best Duck Hunt player, Raito, decides he wants to play Banjo over Duck Hunt, who's really not much better of a character. It's actually so sad to see him go from like mid-tier to mid-tier, lower mid-tier arguably. And that's all I have to say with the character really. It's just no one's really saying the character's good. It has some, has some good stuff like everyone does, but really doesn't matter. And so plays Banjo. Well, I'll skip DD for a second. Banjo's not exactly a much better character either. Sure, heavyweight, kind of small bodies, that's nice. Hit decently hard, has decent zoning. But where's like the hitboxes? Why is grenade so laggy that the opponent can pick it up before Banjo half the time, if not more? Banjo's honestly a character where the grenade timer was either longer or grenade had less end lag on pull. Probably that one, to be honest. The character would actually be really solid. But the grenade having so much like just end lag and the grenade timer being so short really screws over like the cool things this character could do. It makes the character just feel atrocious. And DDD, I mean, what's to say about DDD? I know Animus does well with the character. I think Zaki in Japan does well with the character too still. But like doing well is like getting out pulls consistently. Like maybe causing like a minor upset, but really. This is one of those characters that like, I feel like I never hear anything about the character. But I can always expect the good DDD players to make it like to like the top cut of like a bracket at a major. Like get like 49th or something like that. With like losses where it's like, oh, okay, that's expected. So like, random PR people. Alright, Pichu. I know people always go with the buzz. How do you think Pichu's so bad? He's so fast and combos and he was so broken and then he got nerfed only a little bit and the nerfs were crazy. They're ridiculous nerfs. And arguably, okay, fine. He's where Ryu is. He's above Zelda a little bit. Sure. But I look at this character and I go, I just feel like this character doesn't work. This character's game plan of like, finding openings by running around and throwing T-jolts but hurting himself at the same time. obviously a bad game plan, right? Obviously you need to have some crazy tools to compensate for that. And as Ultimate gets more and more defensive at top level, it happens more and more that like a character like Pichu has to get in, but is effectively on a timer versus every character, just struggles. Especially when the character doesn't even hit that hard if you like SCI the combos well. Not that the combos are bad, they're still pretty decent like combos with back air loops and stuff, but good SCI really evades a lot of this character's like crazy damage, and this character's just dying too early. I honestly don't know any Pichu players making waves. I'm honestly surprised this character's even in the 50s for results, so it shows what I know, I guess, but really, this character just doesn't do anything. I honestly want to put this character as lower, but I can't ignore the fact that this character, like, if this character finds an opening, this character is threatening, and this character's fast enough that like characters, you know, like a lot of these like low tier zoners who don't really have good normals can't really keep out a character like Pichu. So that's nice to have, knowing that like if the opposing character isn't that good at walling, you can get openings and get things going. Alright, pits. Pits are weird. And this character actually is very well rounded and has a lot of good things like by themselves, and has a pretty functional kit. Like the things this character does actually work pretty well together, and overall feels like a decent character when you play him. The problem is this character is too well-rounded with no particular strengths, right? And that's what everyone says since day one, since like Brawl even with this character. And it's the truth. So you have this character that really isn't that good because there's no like matchups where this character excels in probably. But also, unless you find like really strong characters that like really good keep away, like Diddy Kong or Steve probably, the character's not gonna run to like particularly bad matchups that often. So you're just playing a character with a lot of like slightly losing matchups, which you can overcome by outplaying people. You are playing this game in hard mode, but you're not like, oh, I'm just gonna lose to certain characters for free because I'm playing Ganondorf or Puff. So even though this character's results really are just not there, which is I think largely because people don't want to play the character if they're good at the game. If you're a solo pit player, you can make it work by outplaying your opponent, and that's a nice thing to have. Alright, Ices. Honestly, Ices are weird because I feel like they actually might be better than this. They're pretty solid. Yeah, like they're even like doing better than most of the characters in this area of the list. It's hard because this character is so uncommon that people don't know the matchup. If you have a good matchup versus Ices, or you can separate Nana and Popo easily, you just play super safe and lame, they hate life. But if you're not a character that can like really camp them out or just run away until you eventually separate them, the character's actually kind of a threat. The character has a lot of good stuff in the kit, has gotten buffs quite a bit throughout Ultimate, and really I'll probably in the future I might put this character up here. I know Big D does well with the character. I think there's a Japanese Ices that does well. And I think there's like random Ice Climber players that are doing pretty well with the character. I'm gonna bump him up a little bit. Now Ryu. The worst FGC character in my opinion. FGC characters kind of have to get in to do some damage. And the way that devs want Ryu to do that is using his projectiles to kind of zone people a little bit, annoy them, and either make them approach, or use the projectiles to give him opening with like slow Hadoukens and Shanketsu. But the point is, like, he's supposed to like kind of make people approach or like slowly approach them. But in Ultimate, his projectile game just isn't good enough to do either, really. And so he still hits very hard. Characters that can't deal with projectile game, like, alright, sure, he's really good versus that. But it feels like his kit relies on the deficits of the opponent's kit, or just the opposing player as well, as opposed to his own strength to like make these openings happen, because he's so slow. It was like arguably maybe he's better than here, but no one's really playing him because other FGC characters are better. So, goes in mid tier. Alright guys, the next tier is where a lot of, I think, controversial opinions are. So that's going to be a fun one. Catch you for that video.